You find out that he's with somebody new, and suddenly you hope that she gets abused too. That's so mean, right? You're a monster for thinking that, let alone saying it. But I bet you don't say it out loud, right? You barely even admit it to yourself, but you've thought it. Maybe you did say it out loud, and the reaction you got was like, damn, that's mean. But there it is, right? That sick little wish. Please let her see what I saw. Let her get the version that I got. Please let it just not be me. But then the shame hits, right? Who thinks like that? You're not a cruel person. You don't want people to suffer. So why does a part of you kind of want it to happen? You're sitting here thinking, what kind of person wants another woman to be abused? And that question alone is actually proof that you're not heartless. You're just hurt. Let's talk about it, because I promise you, this is not really about you being vindictive. It's not even about being petty. It's about pain. Now, I'm Lisa Sunny. I'm a toxic and abusive relationship expert who helps women break trauma bonds and rebuild their self-trust. I make content like this because the truth is nobody's talking about the real thoughts that women have after abuse. So subscribe if you're just tired of fluff and you're ready for the truth. All right, so back to this mess of a feeling, right? Let's be honest, it is messy. It's raw, but it's human. And if it's happening to you, you're not broken. You're probably just still kind of bleeding, right? Here's what's going on in your mind. He tells you that it's you. You're the problem. You make him treat you this way, right? This man's part-time job is basically gaslighting you into thinking that you caused him to be this way. If you weren't so sensitive or dramatic or selfish or needy or controlling, he wouldn't have to treat you that way. This guy spun it so well that even if you knew that something was wrong, you still wondered if he was right. So now, if she doesn't get abused, if she posts a picture with him smiling or talks about how sweet he is, it feels like a confirmation. See, it was really me. That can be pretty unbearable for a lot of people. So you kind of hope, you need to see her get the same treatment. And it's not because you're evil. It's because you are desperate to be able to say, this wasn't just me. I wasn't crazy and I wasn't hard to love. That's what this is. It's not jealousy. It's not cruelty. It's just kind of like a twisted need for proof that you didn't imagine it. Let me tell you a story. After I left my abuser, I found out that he got his affair partner, she doesn't like being called a mistress, pregnant. And I found out that he abused her too, right? He threw a laptop at her stomach when he found out she was pregnant. He tried to get her to smoke weed while pregnant, go on roller coasters. I got proof in black and white with my own eyeballs that this happened. He used the same sick lines that he used on me, but with kind of like a little bit of a different twist, right? Don't become just another woman to leave me and steal my kids. And if I wanted to deal with this, I would have just stayed with Lisa. Like, as if that was ever an option. But he was triangulating us, right? And that's what you need to focus on. He was telling her lies about me. He painted me as this unhinged, bitter ex who was obsessed with him. And because she was his affair partner, she saw glimpses of me like unraveling and friggin' losing my mind. So it all made sense to her, right? This whole story, she bought it. Hard. This woman made video after video after video on TikTok, spewing all the lies that he fed her, attacking me, frankly, obsessing over me. And I feel like she thought she was sort of like winning some war, but I wasn't even fighting, right? This man, he left her alone on their very first Christmas together so that he could go see another woman for like 14 hours. Christmas Day. Well, she was home all day, pregnant and alone. He's off with some woman. She would complain about his selfishness, his entitlement, his drug use. And this is me. She's not special. She was just next. And I'd heard that all the time, right? The new supply is next. And I was like, I believe that, right? I think so. I was so convinced that I would feel like vindicated if I found out that he was actually abusive to her. I really thought that. I thought that I would feel smug or justified, right? Like somebody finally saw it. But I didn't, actually. I felt sad for her. Like pity. I honestly felt absolute pity because I know what it's like to be in love with a man who's destroying you, to fight for these little crumbs, right? To lose yourself trying to be the one that's different, right? Men are constantly trying to convince us that we should be the one that's different. Now, I didn't want the new supply to suffer. I just wanted to be believed, right? He abused the woman before me, so it kind of made sense that he would abuse the one after me, right? But there was a time I wasn't sure that he would until I got all the evidence, which is probably a story for another day. But that's the thing. I wanted it to not be me. That's everything. I don't think you actually want her to be abused. The abuse would just feel like proof. You want to stop feeling like you're the only one who saw the monster, because that's what abusers do, right? They erase the evidence. They pretend the past never happened. They act brand new with the next person, and you're left holding all this damage. That's why the new supply feels so triggering. Because if he treats her well, right, he could have treated you well. He chose not to. So it really was you. And it's okay to admit that she kind of became the symbol of everything that you lost. He gave her the apologies that you begged for, right? That soft voice that you used to hear, the public validation that you never got. Of course you're angry. It makes sense to be angry. Of course you wanted it to fall apart. But none of that makes you toxic. It just makes you honest about the cost of surviving a man like him. But here's the truth, right? Abusers, they don't get better with the new woman. They just get smarter. And maybe smarter is not the right word. They get more strategic. They refine the mask. I don't actually think abusers are that smart. They tailor the manipulation. They use what they learned with you, and they go even deeper with her, right? And it's interesting because he'll probably give her things that you wanted to hurt you, but you don't even know if she wanted the same things. Like, I have clients that are like, he took her to Italy. He never took me to Italy. It was a dream trip. Do you think she wants to go to Italy? And I know you might think, who doesn't? But like, there are people that's like, I don't really want to do that. People who don't want to go to Europe. They exist. He's giving her what you wanted, not what she wants. Think about that. You're still the center. He's not different now. He's just rebranded. And half the time, she's already being abused, but she's not even ready to say it out loud, like you weren't, right? Let's not forget that most of us were also the new supply at one point. This woman is just still in the phase where maybe she's still making excuses like you did, right? She's posting those cute photos, but she's got the same pit in her stomach that you had when you posted them. Or like my ex's new supply, airbrushing Instagram photos to make herself skinny, hoping that I would feel fat when I wasn't even looking at her photos, right? They had to be texted to me by a complete stranger years later. She's faking a happy relationship, and yet she's Googling, why does my boyfriend call me names when he's mad? Right? You see her smiling online, you can't assume that it's the full story because it probably isn't, right? Social media is not even real. And you shouldn't be looking at his or hers. But even if it is real, or even if it has sort of shreds of truth, even if somehow she's getting this kind of softer, less abusive version of him, it doesn't actually mean that you were the problem. Probably means that she's at a different stage, or she's a different person. She has different boundaries. She hasn't fully seen who he is yet. Abusers hide themselves for years, right? None of this takes away your pain. It doesn't rewrite anything that happened to you. And let me say this too, because this really matters. You are allowed to have compassion for her, and you're still allowed to protect yourself from her, right? You don't have to become friends. You don't have to warn her. In fact, please don't warn her. Every time I make a video on this, it's so controversial. Hear me when I say this. He said to her that he has a crazy ex, right? That's you. So you're going to go to her and you're going to say all the horrible things that he did, which is exactly what he said you'll do, right? So when you do it, you bond her to him even more by proving him right. See, babe, I told you she's crazy. And it's like, oh yeah, you did say that. Look, you're telling the truth. Don't prove that man right. Don't do that. Mind your own business, right? We want to warn the new person for probably one of two reasons, maybe a little combination of both, but you're pissed at him, right? You want to ruin his relationship. Valid, but petty. Or you're a girl's girl and you want to do what you think is right. So if it's the first, please get into therapy or work with me as a coach to kind of move past that. You can move past that. And if it's the second, she needs to learn this for herself for it to really stick, right? Let her figure it out. You can't save her. They rarely listen, and you know it. It's not even worth the risk of her being more attached. If you're really a girl's girl, you don't want her to be more attached to him. Not to mention a massive thing, which is his violence or his anger coming at you with full speed for attempting to tell her the truth, which he will deny. You don't have to feel sorry for the woman who came for your throat while she was with your abuser. And I know a lot of these women were mistresses first. Some knew about you, I know, and some were lied to. I know. Narcissists lie. Shocker. You're mad. And you have every right to be mad. But you also don't have to carry around shame for the moment that you wished that she would suffer too. I don't think it was cruelty. I think it was grief and survival, maybe unprocessed rage from being erased. Back to my suggestion about working through it in therapy or coaching, because that can really help. I help women with this every single day. You just want to know that the truth mattered, that you mattered, and it does. He's spinning a new lie right now, and the truth is still there because you know what happened. You survived him. You saw behind the mask, you got out. Even if he left you, you got out. Whether or not she ever gets what you went through, whether or not he ever shows her that monster, that doesn't change what happened to you. What happened, happened, and you don't need her pain to validate your pain. You're not the crazy ex. You're not the bitter one. You're not imagining things. You just loved somebody who broke you and then acted like you broke him, right? That's what hurts. That's what makes this so hard, so painful. And I want you to know that there is a way to just get through all of this, right? To stop needing proof that he's abusing her too. That's the work that we do inside the Trauma Bond Recovery course or working in sessions with me. We unpack all of it, the guilt, the shame, the hope. Oh my God, the hope, the hatred. We rebuild forward without needing him or her to give us any amount of closure. These guys don't want to give you closure. You have lost enough years, enough time wondering if it was you. Don't lose any more time waiting for her to prove that it wasn't. So if you're ready to stop spinning, that's going to be your next step. If this hits home, drop a comment and let me know what was the moment that you realized that she wasn't special. She was just next. Don't forget to hit subscribe because this channel is where we say the stuff that nobody else will because somebody needs to. And also, please check out Real Talk with Lisa Sunny, Relationships Uncensored, my new podcast.